On June 10th, 2024, a new trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater was shown at the Xbox Game Showcase 2024 event. There were mixed opinions. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and some people are still on the fence about it. Like me, I was impressed by it, but I'm still cautiously optimistic. Some people have expressed their concerns about the trailer, which is completely okay. There is nothing wrong with expressing your opinions and feelings about it. I always believe that people have the right to express their concerns about the things that matters to them. It is a basic human right to express your opinions about the things you care about. You don't have to agree on everything. You can disagree about anything you want as long as you are respectful. Not everyone has the same taste. It is completely fine to not be on the same page about anything, especially when it comes to a video game. However, between the people who loved the new trailer and those who had legitimate concerns about it, there were other types of people. Individuals who did not have any feelings at all about the game, except for one feeling. Anger. Pure anger. Not because of the gameplay, the graphics, or the overall presentation of the trailer. They are angry about something else entirely. Kojima is not making this game. They don't have any legitimate concerns about it. They detest the game solely because Kojima is not working on it. It's been 9 years since Kojima left Konami, and unfortunately, some people still refuse to accept this. To them, if the game is not made by Kojima, then no one else should. It should stay dead forever. They would rather see the series die as a hero than live long enough to become the villain. If you happen to be one of those people, this video is for you. So, listen carefully. My friend, I understand your feelings. Metal Gear Solid was a huge part of my life thanks to Hideo Kojima's effort with the series. Kojima developed the Metal Gear series from 1987 until 2015. That's 28 years of dedication to the series and its fans. Every game in the series was a unique and a memorable experience for us. From the moment the game was announced, from the very first trailer, we would get excited and start analyzing every frame and every pixel, looking for any details that could help ease the wait for the release date. No other developers made us do this other than Hideo Kojima. Every trailer he released made us go nuts, like the Metal Gear Solid 2 E3 2000 trailer, the War Has Changed trailer from Metal Gear Solid 4, and the Red Band trailer from the Phantom Pain at E3 2013. And when the games comes out, we enjoyed some of the best gameplay, cinematics, and storytelling in the video game industry. With addictive gameplay style, stories that touched our hearts, and a massive attention to details in every game. People still find new things in games released 20 years ago. All of this is thanks to Hideo Kojima's brilliant game direction. Just when we thought he had given it all, he would surprise us even more. It is undeniable the magic that Kojima brought to the Metal Gear franchise. It is why we are fans of the series. Of course, we want more. But unfortunately, we do not live in a perfect world. Stuff happens, life happens. Sometimes things get out of hand, and there is nothing you can do about it. The Hideo Kojima and Konami fiasco back in 2015 was one of the biggest unexplained moments in the video game industry I have ever seen. How could one of the most highly successful video game developers within the industry get fired like this? And he was fired during the development of Metal Gear Solid V, The Phantom Pain. It is not like he was fired after its completion, which is usually what big companies do. He was fired during the development process, and the incomplete state of The Phantom Pain was a testament to this. Something happened between Kojima and Konami that warranted Konami to fire Kojima immediately, and we will probably never know what happened. Most people would blame Konami for what happened. Maybe Konami was at fault. Or maybe Kojima was. Who knows? In the end, it doesn't matter. Kojima has left Konami and gone to a different path. And Konami will be taking the Metal Gear series in a new direction as well. It's been 9 years since then, and we still feel the loss deeply. Kojima brought something truly special to the Metal Gear series, crafting unforgettable stories and experiences that left a lasting impact. The fact that we have lost that forever is saddening. However, it's time to move on. It is important to understand that holding into the past can make it hard to appreciate what's happening now and what lies ahead. By accepting that Kojima is no longer involved with the Metal Gear series, we can fully support his new projects, like the innovative Death Stranding, OD, and Vicent, while also giving Konami the opportunity to explore new directions with the series. This change doesn't mean letting go of what we loved, it means making room for new adventures. Some people might be speculating about a possible collaboration between Konami and Kojima for the next Metal Gear game. But I don't think that's likely for several reasons. First, Kojima stated back in 2014 that he would not be making any more Metal Gear games after the release of The Phantom Pain. Even if the fiasco between Kojima and Konami hadn't occurred, Kojima would probably be focused on other projects. Second, Kojima announced in January 2024 at the State of Play showcase that he would be creating a spiritual successor to the Metal Gear franchise, which is Vicent. This was Kojima's clear declaration that he has no intentions of returning to make Metal Gear games. The announcement itself seems to be Kojima's way of telling the fans to stop asking me to make Metal Gear games. Even if by some miracle Konami and Kojima somehow collaborated on a new Metal Gear game, Kojima would probably just be a consultant. He's not likely to want to direct it again. Since Metal Gear Solid 2, Kojima tried to let others at Konami to take the lead, but each time the projects stalled and he had to step back in. This made him feel burned out. He wanted to do something new, and as fans, we should respect that. And you might be thinking, I don't trust Konami to make a good Metal Gear game without Kojima. Well, allow me to remind you that there has been other Metal Gear games that Kojima wasn't involved with. Starting with a game that Kojima himself did not know it existed until by accident, which is Snake's Revenge. Wait, Snake's Revenge? Are you crazy? Snake's Revenge is a good game at its core. If it wasn't for the side-scrolling sections and the absurd level of difficulty of the game, Kojima even views it as a fitting sequel to the original Metal Gear. Another example is Metal Gear Ghost Babel. Released exclusively on the Game Boy Color, this game was surprisingly ambitious for its hardware. It is amazing that such a game was released for such a hardware, featuring impressive features like 1 vs 1 multiplayer mode using linked Game Boy Colors. Additionally, there's Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops released for the PSP. Unlike the previous Metal Gear games where you play as one character sneaking around, Portable Ops introduced a unique feature, recruiting soldiers and sending them on missions. They could gather resources, provide intel, and help craft weapons and items. This idea of Big Boss recruiting soldiers was so intriguing to Kojima that he wanted to expand on it further, leading to the development of Peace Walker. Which is actually kind of interesting because I remember Kojima was very depressed during the development of Metal Gear Solid 4. He was too eager to finish the game to move on to new projects. Portable Ops inspired him to continue exploring the Metal Gear universe, resulting in games like Peace Walker, Ground Zero, and The Phantom Pain. There are also Metal Gear Acid 1 and Metal Gear Acid 2. Although I haven't played them myself and can't say much about them, I have heard positive things about both games, especially Metal Gear Acid 2. And finally, there's Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I won't delve into this game because you all know the impact this game have done to the series and the hack and slash genre in general. These are games that were not developed by Kojima. He was a producer for some of them, but not directly involved. Despite this, these games turned out to be good, fun, and enjoyable. Well, what about Metal Gear Survive, Jag? Have you forgot about that? No, I did not. And yes, that game was a disaster. However, it is important to understand its origins. Metal Gear Survive started as a DLC concept for The Phantom Pain. Kojima had expressed interest into making a zombie game in an interview back in early 2014, considering adding it as a DLC, similar to how Red Dead Redemption handles its zombie DLC, The Undead Nightmare. Konami took this concept and some of the work from the zombie DLC for the Phantom Pain and turned it into a full-fledged game, though lacking features of a typical retail game. This resulted in a broken experience called Metal Gear Survive. Yes, the game was terrible, but no company is perfect. They all have failed projects sooner or later. Unfortunately, Konami missed the mark by a wide margin with Metal Gear Survive, and the fans slaughtered them for it. This backlash was especially severe following the Konami and Kojima incident, where Konami needed to prove themselves to the fans that they could still produce good games. Then Metal Gear Survive came out and cemented the idea among fans that Konami couldn't make good games anymore. But listen, my friend, Konami isn't stupid. They understand the impact the franchise has to the video game industry. They are committed to protecting this brand, which is likely why we haven't seen many Metal Gear releases in the past 9 years, aside from Metal Gear Survive in 2018 and the Master Collection Volume 1 in 2023. To Konami, the Metal Gear franchise is their golden egg-laying chicken, and they are determined to ensure the games maintains high quality. And if you still doubt Konami's ability to handle the Metal Gear series, let me reassure you. While working on this video, a new episode of Metal Gear Production Hotline was released on YouTube. I highly recommend watching it. After viewing it myself, I felt a sense of relief. Things are shifting up at Konami. They genuinely care about the series and its fans. They are dedicated to winning back fans' trust. You will notice in the video that Kojima's name was mentioned, and Okamura, the producer of Metal Gear franchise, credited Kojima for his work on the series. It took them 9 years to publicly acknowledge his contributions, which is unusual for Konami, and it feels nice. I can't believe I'm saying this about a video game company. Konami's redemption arc has begun, my friend. Which reminds me, remember Capcom? Especially 2012-2013 Capcom? Back then, people were so hateful with Capcom. Some of them were calling Capcom Crapcom. A decade ago, Capcom was at its lowest point, nearly going bankrupt in 2013. This was due to several bad decisions made by executives. They cancelled multiple Mega Man games, had an abysmal launch for Street Fighter Cross Tekken which destroyed the game, withdrew support for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 despite its popularity, and held some IPs hostage, pressuring fans to buy bundles and collection of older games in order for Capcom to start making new ones. Does anyone remember the Darkstalkers Are Not Dead teaser? Then there was Resident Evil 6, a game lacking a clear identity. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It's like Capcom forgot the survival horror roots of the series. And let's not forget the controversial reboot of Devil May Cry. A reboot that no one asked for. A reboot that was forced into the fans' throats. A reboot that tarnished the series. All these factors pushed Capcom, once one of Japan's and the world's largest video game publishers, to the brink of bankruptcy. They were saved by the success of Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS. Without it, Capcom might not have survived. Now, look at Capcom today compared to a decade ago. People now love Capcom more than ever. They have staged an impressive redemption arc with hit games like Resident Evil 7, 8, and the remakes Street Fighter 5 and 6, Devil May Cry 5, Monster Hunter World, Mega Man 11, and Dragon Dogmas 2. Capcom has made a remarkable comeback, and Konami has the potential to do the same. All I'm saying is, give Konami a chance. If Capcom could pull it off, so can Konami. In regarding the future of Kojima and the Metal Gear series, it is unfortunate we won't see another Metal Gear game from him. Still, I am grateful for the 9 Metal Gear games that he created himself. As a wise person once said, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.